All right, thank you everybody for coming back. 26 Sports, episode number 5. Your host Mike Retha again, and today we have on GoldenBoy's one of their top prospects, coming up contender, one of the best female fighters that there is in the game today, the one and only Sulem Urbina. How are you doing today, Sulem?
Hi, I'm doing well. I'm excited to be here with you guys and talking boxing.
Thank you. Well, we're going to get right into it. Of course, we had some pretty interesting news maybe a few minutes ago or maybe an hour ago about Jarrell Big PED Miller. Looks like he got caught again. And I mean, I just don't know what we're going to do now with him. I mean, honestly, I've been seeing lifetime bans, things like that being thrown out. And at this point, I don't think that's wrong. I don't think that we should let him stay because he has done multiple times now. It's not one or two. It's more than one time that he's done the same thing. What are your thoughts on that? Especially being a professional fighter yourself and knowing the risk that comes with that if he would have fought.
I think boxing's a very difficult sport. You can already come out hurt without using any of those things, those
Yeah.
enhancers that, help you perform better. You can really hurt somebody and, they won't be able to come back home. You don't play with that. I
Yes.
think it's very wrong. And as a boxer, a lot of us aren't educated on the matter, and maybe you have a slip up here or whatever, you take something that you didn't know what it was or had something that was banned, but like you said, this isn't the first time for him. There's been a few occasions where he's been caught, so I mean, he's totally wrong. He should be punished.
Yes. And my thing is, as they always say, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice. This is the fourth time. Three times against Anthony Joshua he got caught, and this one now to me the part that gets me is you don't even wait a full fight before you do it again. Like you don't even have a fight in between and be like, okay, I'm gonna just do it normal because you already know they weren't. It's not like they're gonna throw him in there against a top five heavyweight fighter. He was gonna get thrown in there against someone he should look good against, get some rounds against, and go. I don't condone PED use at all because, as you said, some fighters may not come home normally from a regular fight just without that advantage of PED, and then you throw that in there, and you're throwing the even higher risk. And people we've seen a lot of fighters lose their lives last year, and the people that they fought against weren't positive. So now imagine if, as a heavyweight, you're able to use that. If it's a lifetime
It's
ban, I agree.
Yeah, I agree too. I mean, it's not something you should be using. It's not like it's a race. Not that I'm condoning it for any other sport, but I mean, you in a race, you're, not hurting somebody else.
Yes.
And so, I mean, in boxing, it's just not right. In
Yeah.
any combative sport.
Yeah, and as you said, baseball, of course, that's still a problem, but you're hitting a ball. You're not like in football where you're going to go tackle somebody. This isn't MMA or that where you're hitting someone. In MMA and boxing, you're hitting someone. You're adding strength to what you've already put on in normal strength, and you're risking someone's life even more. So yeah, I agree with you there. I don't agree with it in any sport, but yeah, in cycling, anything like that, it's like okay, you're cheating, but you're not putting somebody else's life at risk as you are here. So yeah, if they do give them the
Exactly.
lifetime,
That's what makes it more dangerous.
yeah, if they do give him the lifetime ban, then give him the lifetime ban and let's move on because he obviously doesn't respect the sport enough to go ahead and go with it. So yeah, I'm good with it.
And it's very, very sad that it has to happen because I mean, right now everybody's counting on those fights every Tuesday and
Yes,
Thursday for top rank, and now this happens and it takes away from how good the sport is
yes.
looking on the comeback.
Yeah, like we have the tested positive for the virus. We hear that and you're like, oh, but then you hear this and it's like, come on, man. Like we're getting these fights every the last couple weeks, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and that's really the last thing we need right now is someone else to test positive for a drug, not even for the virus, a drug. As it is, everyone's on high alert because of what's going on with the virus, and then you get this to pop up. It just shows a total lack of respect for the sport. So yeah, I mean, he was a fighter that I enjoyed watching, but now I question how long he was actually on these things because you
It's
never
true.
know.
I think. it's very difficult to actually know, and there's so much stuff out there that isn't, you know, you go to GNC and something has
Yeah.
something and you don't even know about it, and then you get kind of scared. Like me personally, I'm scared of taking certain supplements because I don't know what's if it's gonna have something that's gonna get me in trouble or whatever. So I'm very, very careful with all that, and I try my best. But like I said, he's done it a few times already, so
Yes.
it just doesn't make sense. It's not a first time. It's not a. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's like if it was a one-time thing, you could understand. As you said, you go to GNC, you go to one of these places, things happen. We've seen that happen before. It's like, oh, I didn't know that's what it had. But when it's more than one time, especially coming off of you getting caught 3 times for one fight, it's not. It's no longer a mistake. Like that's just the thing. It's no longer a mistake. And yeah, I mean, it bugs me because especially with all the things like the UFC fighter last weekend, I believe, who was trying to stop his fight, and the corner was telling him, "You're fine, keep going." That bugged me. And now seeing this, it's like some people just don't respect the fight game enough to do it or to fully understand the risk.
It's so sad because in that case about that UFC fight, it's like the coaches have such pride that they won't take care of their boxers,
Yeah,
They're there to take care of their boxers and protect them also, not just train them and coach them, and it's just not right.
yeah. And what that one is, I've heard, like, I think the fighter came out and said he did the right thing. Of course, he's going to protect his trainer as well. But my thing was, if you're as a fighter, 95 to 99% of a fighter in MMA or boxing or anything of that, when they say I'm done, they're done because fighters are warriors and you have to get pulled out of the ring or yanked out in a stretcher to quit. And so if someone's saying, "Hey, let me get out, let me stop, let me do this," something's wrong. Like he knows it. He knows it better than anybody else. Nobody else is gonna know how good that fighter feels or how bad he feels besides that fighter. So yeah, I definitely feel that.
I feel that coaches that have seen their fighter taking a beating and they're just not looking better, and there's no way they're going to win the fight in the long run. I mean, then when they stop it, it just shows what great coach they are
Yeah.
because they're taking care of their fighter.
Y-
Wilder versus Fury, that's a perfect example.
Yes.
It was good that it was stopped. It was, I mean, he was just taking a beating
Yes.
every round.
And to me, in that fight was he was losing clearly. They stopped it. Maybe he was having an off night because that does happen. So with the corner stopping it, it preserved this third fight to at least give Wilder a chance to redeem himself. If he gets maybe another round or two where he's beating up even worse, maybe he doesn't recover good enough to even fight again at all. So with that stoppage, he at least, like I told people, he's preserved for the next fight, and possibly he's preserved at least maybe $10 or $15 million to make in the third fight because it's already the contract that was signed. So his corner did a great job in
Exactly.
that.
And I mean, he's living to fight another day. We had so many tragedies happen
Yes,
last year and before that. We're lucky that the corner took care of him and we didn't suffer another tragedy because it's boxing. It's
yeah,
brutal. You
yeah,
never know what could have happened.
yeah. And in the case last Saturday, 2 fights on the card from Mexico, the one with Navarrete and one of the undercard fights. I was so happy with the corners in those fights because they were not to the point of competitive anymore, but the fighter wasn't getting brutalized to where he looked terrible, terrible, but he was losing clearly and getting beat up. And both times the corner was
Yeah.
like, "Hey, you know what? That's it. Let fight another day. Let's get out of here." And I was like, "See, those ones they saved him from something worse." And those are the type of
Yeah.
corners that you want on your side because they know, you know what? Hey, we'll get him next time. Let's come back because
And
it's
something a lot of viewers don't know, I mean, about those fights in Mexico City. It's not only, the pain inflicted by the other fighter, or it's also the altitude in Mexico City.
yes,
A lot of those fighters get flown into Mexico City just before those fights. The altitude in Mexico City is no joke.
yeah,
I mean, Chinito Ornelas, he's one of the guys that the corner stopped the fight
yeah, yeah, yeah.
on the undercard. He honestly, the kid, he's really good. He's from Tijuana. You could have said he was the A side, but you know what? Got flown in right before his fight. You know, altitude, everything, and he's fighting somebody from Mexico City. It wasn't an even playing field, you know,
Yeah.
and he's lucky that the fight got stopped.
He's the one he fought the kid with the pink hair, right? Or the red hair?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. And him, that's what I noticed in that fight was he came out strong, he came out good, and you could just tell little by little he wasn't like, oh, I'm tired, I'm gonna get a second. He looked exhausted by about the fourth or fifth round. And yeah, I started thinking about that too. I was like, well, how many of these guys how long have they been there? Because it's the same
Yeah.
thing like in football when people go play in Colorado and Denver, they say the same thing. It's the altitude is high, and in Mexico City has crazy altitude that
Me-
football teams
Mexico
go a
City
week
is
ahead of
way
time.
higher than
Yeah,
Colorado.
yeah, and
I
football
mean,
teams go a
I've
week.
gone to fight in Mexico City many times. I've gone to do camps out there, and it's no joke. The first week is horrible, and you even feel worse as the days go on till like about 2 weeks you start feeling better. So I mean, it's something that the audience has to know and pay attention to. It's also the altitude. It's not just the fatigue or from the fight or from the pain inflicted from the other fighter. It's the altitude. The altitude, as soon as some fights I didn't even warm up in Mexico City
Oh wow,
because,
you
I mean,
just
you had to save your energy.
yeah, okay, yeah, yeah, and I mean I've heard that a lot from other fighters is that altitude up there is just brutal. As I said, like when I've heard about football teams when they go to play out there, they try to go if they can about a week in advance or something to try to get more accustomed to it before because yeah, that from what I've been told, it is the craziest one that people use it to help them get in shape and have more energy and more stamina, but yeah, that it kills you those first couple weeks. I've been told a lot by a lot of fighters that as well.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. So a couple other things now. I know what Golden Boy's coming back. They pushed the date back because of what happened with Ryan Garcia and everything, but they do have one set now for the 24th. Have you been contacted at all about that, or do you know if you'll be in July or August at all?
I haven't. I believe they just want to get the ball rolling right now with the first card, and then once the first card goes, and following all the COVID-19 protocols and all that stuff with the commission, they're gonna see on a further schedule. I will be back before the end of the year. They have told me that. I just do not know when. But I'm working out. I'm
Yeah.
not fight ready in shape, but I'm staying in the gym and working on little things here and there.
Yeah, and I remember you had told me during the beginning of this when you were at the gym, you actually had the cops called on you. So now you must feel a lot better that you don't have to worry about that now, right?
I did. I got the cops called on because they said there was a multitude of people and it wasn't. It was like four of us at the gym. But I mean, it happens.
Yeah,
We had to, improvise and switch it up and sneak into the gym. Now that gyms are open, we're forced to wear masks in the gym.
yeah,
So it's very difficult to train.
yeah.
You can't train right. So we're actually training at the park most of the time,
Okay, okay. Well, I mean, you got
out
as you
in
said,
open spaces.
and you got to improvise as you said. You got to do different things to
Yeah.
keep it. So that's good. Um, but I mean, again, as you said, the balls get rolling with that first card. Uh, if there is a shot for you to fight maybe twice this year, would you take that if given the opportunity?
I think so. I think people forget that at the same time that's our job.
Yeah,
And crowd or no crowd, I mean, that's how I make a living. And of course, I mean, I would love to fight. I've fought without crowds before. It's not going to be the first time. Certain evaluations that we did in the amateurs, they were at closed doors. And then I've also been on undercards here where, you're practically fighting in an empty arena at the
yeah.
beginning. So, I mean, at the end of the day, you got to know exactly what you want to do, and I want to fight.
Yeah, and yeah, that's the one thing I've heard from so many fighters is, hey, coming up, I fought with my family in the audience, and that's it, or maybe just my significant other in the audience. So hey, I'll take it. So as you said, it is your job, and it is what you have to do to make a living. So yeah, and hopefully we do get to see you back because again, your last fight was really really good. I mean, some of those pictures, if you guys haven't seen the pictures of the punches that you landed on your opponent, were very solid. I don't know how she didn't stop, but I mean, yeah, it was a good fight and a good performance. And I mean, I know we had talked right after that, I believe, and you were talking about, oh well, hopefully nothing gets too crazy so you could get your other fight set in, and then yeah, right away
Yeah.
there was all the lockdowns.
No, thank you. I mean, I've been working really hard and I feel like every fight I've been improving. Obviously, there's still a lot of improvement need to be made that needs to be made. But I'm on my right way.
Yeah, and you have improved as I said. I seen you when you were fighting in the Mexico cards. Um, I tell everybody I'm that type of boxing fan and person where I've watched when they used to be here in the U.S. on Bean. I would watch those cards every Saturday night. I had Beto Duran on Monday. I told him I used to watch the Thompson cards at 7, 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock on Friday nights. I didn't care what it was, who it was. I would watch it just because you never know who you're gonna see that's gonna come from that. I tell everybody, look, Mungia. I watched him and Navarrete on those cards, and
Yeah.
they're world champs now. And so yeah, I remember watching you when you first started out there, and yeah, you've improved more. And then I like the way you're. It's just the all around skill has definitely improved. And like I told you, I mean, I would love to see you in there with Super Bad or Esparza, either one. I know it's still probably going to be a little bit of time, especially now with everything that's going on. But I
Hmm.
mean, I would love to see that, or anybody else at your weight class, honestly, that in the top 10.
Definitely, I think there's great fights to be made. The flyweight division is stacked. There's talent everywhere, and hopefully those big fights get built up, and we actually get that recognition that us women deserve.
Yeah, and you guys really do. I mean, I liked not because before my wife comes and hits me. I liked the video you guys did about that trend that you guys are doing where all the women come in
Yeah.
the video. That was a really good video because it showed the diversity in you guys. Like, I know a lot of people always say, "Oh, well, is the woman pretty? I don't want to watch it." To me, that doesn't matter. I mean, no offense to any woman, but if you could fight, I'm gonna watch you fight. I mean, I love the sport. I love MMA, and it doesn't matter. But yeah, with that one, I remember a lot of guys were like, "Oh wow, that's how they look outside the ring." I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, at the end of the day, it's not like they walk around in boxing shirts and shorts and gloves all day. I'm like, they are people.
I think
So
it's something a lot of people forget.
yeah,
They have this idea of a female boxer just being rough and
yeah,
just like manly, and there everybody has their own style, and it's you have to respect it. And just like the construction worker doesn't wear his construction uniform
exactly.
all day,
He's not in the
us
hard hat and
boxers have the
boots.
right to dress up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's not gonna go to the restaurant in hard hat and boots. He's not gonna go to the club with his
Yeah.
vest on. He's yeah. So exactly, yeah. When I seen that, I was like, oh wow, I was like, this is nice. And I just remember, oh wow, that's how they look. Oh, and I'm like, oh, my. I was like, what do you guys think that they wear mouth guards all day or something? So yeah, that was good. And then the people that you guys had in there was so diverse with all the different fighters from different areas. So yeah, it was really good. And yeah, I definitely agree that I believe women's boxing should be more recognized. I've never understood. Well, I mean, hey, everybody has a preference, but like when people talk down on it, it to me it's like when they talk down on women boxing the same way they talk about the lower weights of regular
Mhm.
men boxing fighters. I've never understood how you can say, "Oh, I don't like it. It's not for me." It's like, well, they're still fighting. It's still the sport. You can't take it away.
Here's the thing. I've heard a lot of comments of, "Oh no, I don't watch women's boxing. Oh no, women shouldn't be boxing this and that." And I sit there and I think to myself, I wonder if they have daughters and if they tell them they can't do something.
Yeah, yeah, and I've always thought that too because see, my daughter, she's not like that at all. My daughter, she'll come in here and she'll throw a jab at you and laugh or
Hmm.
something, but that of course, she's been around me since forever, so she watches me
Hmm.
watch boxing, and whenever she sees a girl fighting, I love it because then she's like, oh, look at her, ooh, ooh, and she gets so excited. So, and I want my daughter because of the world that we live in to be able to defend herself, and I want her to know how to take care of herself, and that's why whenever I
Exactly.
see a girl that can fight, I'm like, oh, hey, perfect. So, yeah, that's always one of my favorite things. And sometimes I've always told people, now you could answer for this for me. I feel that women are a lot more competitive than men. So I feel when you guys fight, you guys feel that you guys really got to take that house down and I mean bring it down. So is that something that's correct, or am I thinking that way?
It, it's true. It's true. Us women, we're just naturally competitive. A lot of people say, you know what, women don't dress up for other men; they dress up for other women.
Yes,
You know,
I've heard that.
and I feel it's very very true. At the end of the day, we're all very confident, but it is very true. We're very competitive, and we always want to get better and be better. And we also have to, climb that big mountain that we have. A lot of people don't support women's boxing, so we have a lot to prove, and we carry that burden.
Yeah, and for me, I enjoy the way so many of you guys are online with each other. Where, yeah, as you said, you're competitive, but you guys show so much love and respect to each other, supporting each other's fights, training, anything that you guys post up. One of you guys is on there like, oh, hey, good job, keep working, and I've always like I love the interactions with you and um, I can't say her name, Francis Cruz. The
Oh
yeah,
yeah, Frenchon.
yeah. Oh my God! Like you guys are just always like, hey, this and that. And I've always loved that. And oh, and
I think
speaking,
we're confident women. We
yeah,
can be competitive, but we're confident at the
yeah,
same time.
yeah, and that's why I love the interactions you guys always have, just in general. And with her speaking about how we're talking about the PEDs, I mean, her fight. Look
Hmm.
at that. The one that she fought. I know a lot of people made a joke about it. Um, well, people took it as a joke. Like I'm not gonna say that I didn't say anything about her opponent. I was like, man, she's got kind of a rough voice, but I didn't mean it like, oh, I'm making fun of her. I was just like, her voice is, and someone said, hey,
Yeah,
well, she used to be a heavyweight. Oh, okay, well, that makes sense. That could be why. But then it comes out she tested positive and everything, and it was like, okay, see, you guys try to make me feel bad, and I didn't mean it in a bad way. Like I was
yeah.
really questioning why her voice is that deep, but now after the fight we understood, and that just shows to me also with her how much more heart she has, because that woman was on PEDs and couldn't knock her down, and it was a very close fight at the end of the day.
I feel Frenchon should have won that fight.
I thought she did, honestly.
Um, I think she has the better skills. She just fell back on Tigre's plan, and
Yeah,
brawled a little too much. I think if they fight again, Frenchon will make that adjustment, and take the win.
yeah.
Frenchon is the more skilled fighter and smarter and all the way around better. She just fell into the wrong fight plan.
Yeah, she fell in love with the fight that was going on because she heard the
Mhm.
crowd. I mean, I'm sitting there like, man, this is a good fight. But
It was
so
very
yeah,
entertaining.
it was an excellent fight, and yeah, I mean, it was back and forth, and yeah, after it was, I was more like, man, I'm mad that what's name got caught, but then I'm so impressed with Franchon who got hit and was like,
Yeah.
okay, and with everything that girl was on, it's like, wow, she really showed up. So yeah, Franchon deserves to stay the champion, and she did an amazing fight, and the way she's come up has been very good too. I mean, I always felt when they put her up against Maricela, that first time it was kind of like, oh, try to give Maricela the title shot, but Franchon took it
Yeah.
and then took the second fight. So I mean, it's all respect to her because she's showed her skill and ability, especially the way she just came up and earned everything she's gotten so far.
Frenchon has a huge amateur career.
Yeah,
We've known each other for years. And when that fight was offered to her with Maricela Cornejo, people thought it was going to be an easy win for Maricela
yeah,
because nobody really knew who Frenchon was. I was like, oh, they picked the wrong opponent
yeah.
because Frenchon was going to come in there and win, and she did.
Yeah. I thought the same thing when they announced that. I was like, they do know she's probably the only girl that hung with Clarissa so far. I was
Yeah,
like, so I was like, all right, if they want to give her that fight, that's fine. But yeah, once I watched it, I was like, wow, yeah, there it is. This is why she took the fight and she showed off. I mean, she did an amazing fight twice, not just once,
yeah,
twice. Yeah. So yeah,
definitely.
it was good. Now again with everything with the corona going on, and then I mean it dropped a little bit and it spiked back up again. Is there any worry in your mind that everything will get locked down again, or do you think that now it's just we're too far past possibly being able to get locked down again?
I think it's a virus. and it's everybody's gonna get it one way or another.
Yeah,
I mean, you can be as careful as you want, but when it's your turn, and it's not gonna be something that we get rid of. It's gonna be here consistently,
yeah,
just like the flu.
yeah,
So I understand the whole precaution of crowded places and all this, and clubs and bars, and I don't really go to those places, so
uh,
it that helps me there. I mean, I don't go out much, but it is kind of hard to be wearing a mask for me at the gyms and stuff like that. I understand all the precautions, but at the same time, we all have to be prepared to get it.
yeah,
And I hope that this is a test for all of us, to just become healthier people
yeah,
all around, because it is something that attacks harder on people with an immune system that is lower.
yeah,
So I just hope that we learn to take care of our bodies better, eat healthier, exercise regularly, and just become healthier all the way around.
yeah. I definitely agree because I mean, my fear is always with my parents. I mean, my little girl. That's where my fear lies. But with me and everybody else, it's kind of like no. I mean, at this point, if we get it, we get it. I hope we don't, but I mean,
Hmm.
there's just it's to that point now where I feel like if we're gonna get it, we're gonna get it just because of
Yeah.
how long it's already been here, and the fact that the rest of the world has seemed to respond to it a lot better than we have. I mean, it just shows me that I think we're just stuck with it for right now. I mean, yeah, keep all the precautions. I completely agree. Do everything we
Yeah.
need to do, but yeah, it's kind of like we. I don't know.
Hmm.
I don't want to. I don't want to sound like I'm downplaying it at all because I'm not.
Yeah.
But it's yeah, as you said. I mean, if we get it, it's kind of like hey, it's out of our control right now.
That's exactly what it is. We're afraid for our parents, our grandparents, older people, and it's that's what's hard, because we can recover, we can be okay. That's where my fear is. And when all this started, I prayed, I got down on my knees, and I spoke to God, and I said, you know what, let it be what you may want it to be. I put all my faith in you, and I accept whatever it is that you give us.
Yeah,
um, I think, times are just strange.
yeah,
It's been a weird year. A
yeah.
lot of things have happened. Now we have the Sahara
Those dust winds.
sand
Yeah,
comets.
yeah,
Yeah, so it's like I don't know what's gonna happen with that.
yeah. Well, all they said was I think that it would just dim the sunlight or something. So I don't know, but yeah,
Yeah, but they also said it could carry more of the disease and whatnot, and I don't know. So,
yeah,
I mean, I try to just keep a positive mind
yeah,
and stay aware. I don't go out much, so that helps a lot.
yeah, yeah,
But we can't put our whole lives on hold.
yeah,
A lot of people tell me, "Hey, you need to be safe. You shouldn't be out training and this and that." They don't understand. This is my job.
yeah.
Just like that person has to go to work to earn a living for their family, this is my job.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that I understand the precautions, and then I understand the people that are like, hey, you should be
Exactly.
more careful. You should, yeah, we should, but we can't. Like, we don't have. Not every single person in this world has millions of dollars saved up somewhere that we could be like, all right, you know what? Let's just stay home for the next 6 months. We'll be fine. No, we can't do that.
You
We
saw
have to.
Jerry Jones and his yacht, right?
Yes. Oh man.
Yeah, we're not all on the same
Yeah,
boat.
exactly. We don't have that. We don't have that. Um, when some of us that got that stimulus check didn't get that 1.7 million stimulus, we got the 12,000 or something like that, or 1,200.
Yeah.
That's just how it is. So it's life, and yeah, we can't put it on hold because we have to do stuff. I mean, that's the risk we have to do. It's to me, it's just the same as well, it's not the same because it is a higher risk, but there's some risks that you take every day, no matter what. So that's life. But hopefully, at some point, we're able to control it more, so or get it to a
Hmm.
point where we are able to handle it a lot better. Because as you see in these other countries, I mean, New Zealand, they took care of it in 3 or 4 months, and they're back to
Yeah.
normal life over there. So that gives
Yeah.
me hope, knowing that it can happen. At least that we can do something about it. But
Yeah.
we'll see how it goes.
Definitely.
Yeah. And as we're talking about, your women's boxing, everything that you're doing, is there a possibility for you where you would possibly move up a couple weight classes throughout your career, or do you think that this weight class is where you'll normally stay at for your whole career?
I, I'll definitely be moving up maybe later on, 115 and maybe try 118. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm a small person, but I do want to move up to at 115 and I'm thinking about 118, but first is first, 112.
Yeah.
Under 112, I really it's not possible for me. But 112 and up.
Okay. And what I like to ask this question: what arena or what place is one place you would like to have a fight at?
Oh, I mean, there's so many great ones. I mean, MGM and MSG.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Those two, I mean, they've had great wars, one in the West Coast and one in the East Coast.
Uh,
It'd be a dream come true.
any country specifically that you would like to have a fight in?
Um, I mean, obviously everybody loves fighting here in the
Yeah.
US because that's where the big money is
Yeah.
at and, where, you know, the big fights happen. But I wouldn't mind going to Japan and the UK.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. UK. I hear that a lot too now. More and more with Eddie, because yeah, he has that money as
Yeah.
well. I mean, he's gonna be
He
having
does.
fights in his front yard, so hey, you can't beat that.
Yeah, definitely. It looks amazing. The whole
Yeah.
setup for what is it called? Fight camp or
Yeah,
something
fight
like
camp.
that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
his response to me was still the greatest thing when someone told him, "Why are you showing off?" And I liked how he said, "I'm sorry, I wasn't raised poor," or "I'm sorry, I
It's
have
not
money."
his fault. It's not
Yeah,
his fault.
that was the thing. Is like, I get upset when I hear people talk about people with money like that. Like, oh, why are you showing off? Well, I mean, yeah, it sucks to the people that don't have money, but that's not the way they came up. That's it's not against
But
them. I mean, that's their life.
I don't think Eddie's showing off or
No,
anything.
he's
He's
not. He's a
just,
good
he's a
dude.
very cool guy. He's
Yeah.
very cool, very humble, and I mean, he's helping so many boxers.
Yes, he is.
So hey,
Yeah, more
get it
power to
done.
him. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
he's a good dude. Every time I've seen him, he says hi. He'll say what's up, talks to me for a couple minutes. I always make fun of him every time I've seen him. He's not wearing his like he'll have those suits on, but then I'll see him in like some Nikes or something. I'm always telling him, "Are you just planning to run out the ring as soon as the fight's over?" So yeah, we always talk here and there just when I do see him. But yeah, he's a good guy. He's very humble and down to earth, and he'll answer any question from anybody. That's one thing that I've always admired about him. Some people would be like, "Oh, I'm not talking to him." He does not care. He'll answer any question. So yeah, and as you said, he's
Yeah.
helping a lot of people out here.
Yeah, I love Eddie. He's very, humble and he supports women's boxing. He's, you know, Natasha Jonas versus
Yeah,
Terry Harper coming
that's a
up.
good
That
fight.
one's going to be a great fight, and I'm excited to see that.
Now I'm going to talk about your stablemate here, Joshua Franco. How excited and happy were you on Tuesday for his win? And what were your feelings when the scorecards were announced? Because that was the first thought that came to my head was, I hope they don't steal it from this kid.
You know, I was so excited. He told me about this fight a while back. I just didn't say anything, and I was just excited for him. And the day came, and I felt nervous, anxious. I mean, if you saw my Twitter during the fight, I didn't
Yeah,
even tweet because I couldn't. I was just watching the fight, and Maloney got off to a good start. He looked
yeah,
sharp, and I felt Joshua was kind of waiting a little too much, but then he was just becoming too strong for Maloney, and I saw him starting to take over, and just it was a landslide toward the end of the fight, and when the scores were announced, I was like, "Oh my God, they're gonna take it from
yeah,
him." I thought they were gonna take it from him, and it was, I was just in awe.
yeah,
I'm just happy that the right person won, and I was so happy and ecstatic that I didn't even care about the score afterwards.
yeah.
A win's a win. Like if it's what by 1 point or by 10, he won, so that's all that matters.
Yeah, and it was funny. And shout out to Joshua Franco. He actually reached out to me. We're gonna have him on the show as well pretty soon. So appreciate him reaching out. But yeah, I had actually talked to a lot of people about that when they announced that fight, and it was like, "Oh yeah, the brothers are coming over." I was like, they might have messed up with Franco. I was like, Franco is not a walkover. I was like, watch it. And the closer the fight kept coming, I kept telling people, I was like, I feel like
Hmm.
Franco's gonna get him. I feel like Franco's gonna get him. And they're like, why? I was like, because they're hyping Maloney up so much. I was like, and with good reason. He's a good fighter. I was like, but
Yeah.
Franco's been in those wars. He's been in those tough fights. He's been through adversity. Maloney hasn't yet. I was like, so who knows how he's gonna respond? And yeah, as you said, I mean, early on, Maloney started out good, and then little by little, you could see. To me, it was those uppercuts that Franco kept landing. I was like,
Oh yeah.
Maloney's not getting out of the way of these uppercuts. I was like, that's a key. I was like, and then I told everybody, Franco's going to start going to the body at some point in this fight. That's going to help bring the hands down. And yeah,
The
little by
power
little,
was just a
yeah,
huge difference.
and yeah, so I mean, it was a really good fight, regardless. I mean, after hearing that Maloney had two perforated eardrums, that's
Mhm.
crazy that he lasted all 12 rounds and the majority of the fight with both of them like that. So, uh, but regardless, Franco earned that fight. He won it. Yeah, the scores were close, as I said, but yeah, to me, I was like, it was a very close fight. He should have won by 3, 4 points. So the one judge that had it by three, that was
Yeah.
fine. The one that had it by 1 point, it just hit me. I was like, if they don't give him, if he don't get that knockdown, it's a draw.
Yeah.
So that's really what messed with me. I was like, come on, man. But he got the fight, he won it, and all credit to him. I've seen everybody's uh, Twitter page from GoldenBoy going so crazy for him. I've seen all the fighters from his team at Robert Garcia's going crazy for him. So I mean, he's a very likable guy. He's a real tough kid. I mean, he fights through it. So I was so happy for him to see him pull out that win because I felt like he really earned it and he worked his way for that fight.
Yeah, honestly, I was so excited. I mean, I didn't want to bother him too much, but I shot him a text the next day, just wanted to congratulate him. And, I bet you his phone was blowing up, so I didn't want to take too much of his
Yeah,
time, but I was just happy for him. And I'm happy Golden Boy has a new world champion. And I'm also happy, they got to showcase smaller weight classes,
yeah,
high caliber on TV with a huge audience right now because I feel a lot of times, they forget about the little guys.
yeah.
They forget that the little guys have honestly better fights than the fights that have all that the media coverage, all the
Yeah,
hype. The little guys put in great work and they're very exciting to watch and they deserve all the praise.
yeah, and that's why I say I don't understand when people say, "Oh, I don't like the lower weight class." I'm like, well, why not? Like one of the best fights last year was Danny Roman and T.J. Donaghy. That was one of the best fights in all
Yeah.
of boxing last year. Um, so yeah, definitely. I've always, I mean, as long as I watch boxing, I've always liked the smaller weight classes. Barrera, Morales, Tapia, Finito Lopez, Michael Carbajal, all these guys that I've always enjoyed watching. It's like, how do you guys not like these fights? Like as you said, some of the times they are better than the other ones. It's the same thing as I've said with women's boxing. Sometimes they would see the card and be like, "Oh, Christy Martin's fighting. I bet you that's going to be good." Or Layla
Yeah.
Ali or Ann Wolf, whoever it's going to be, I'll bet you that's going to be a good fight. So, yeah, sometimes that's what I would look forward to. So with this one, it was like, "Oh, Franco's fighting. Okay, I mean, shouts out to Top Rank, but that might be a tough one for him." So look, whoops, looks like we lost her for a moment there. Should be able to come back on right now. Give us 1 second.
Hi,
All right, cool. Okay, we're back on now.
I'm back.
Yeah, see, sorry for the technical difficulties. Everything's back to normal now. But yeah, as we are saying, that was a good fight. And yes, always the lower weight classes are always something that I look forward to as well as women's fighting. Um, Now, we've been noticing, a little bit of discourse, obviously, with some of the fighters with Golden Boy. Have you ever noticed anything like that, with yourself? Everything from the fighters that I've talked to from Golden Boy, I've never seen issues except just really with Ryan Garcia and his situation. Is that something that you've ever noticed, or do you think it's just Ryan getting something in his ear that he shouldn't be getting?
Honestly, I feel Ryan is has a huge following. He has a
Yeah,
huge following, and maybe at times he forgets that it's not only about the following, but it's also about that relationship that you have with that company that's helped you build you, built you, and helped you when nobody else was there and nobody else really cared. Um, Ryan had a good amateur career, but it wasn't like it was a Lomancheco amateur
yeah,
career. He wasn't on Team USA only. I mean, he was when he was a youth. I don't know if he was junior or a youth member, but
yeah,
never on the elite division. He didn't win any international medals in the elite division, um, things like that. So he needs to remember, that Golden Boy was there from the start. I haven't had any issues with Golden Boy. Honestly, on the contrary, I'm very appreciative of all the little things they've already done for me with me being so new to the stable. I feel that social media is such a huge platform nowadays
yeah.
that fighters forget that it's not only about social media. You have to actually fight. You have
Yes.
to actually fight the best to demand more. You have to actually be a title holder. You have to step up and fight good quality fights, and just you have to build yourself up to those big purses that you desire.
Yeah.
You can't ask for $1 million to fight somebody that doesn't have a belt.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. I heard that that's what he was asking to fight Linares,
Yeah.
and obviously it's like he's bidding himself out of the big fights.
Yeah.
It's like he's asking for that much to not have to take it.
Yeah.
The kid's doing an amazing job. I wish I had that following. Obviously, he knows what he's doing. Unfortunately, somewhere on along the road, they're forgetting that there is a contract in place.
Yeah.
Everybody remembers that tweet that he made that he said he signed the most lucrative deal for a boxer coming up,
Yeah.
and there's a contract in place, and he has to respect it.
Yeah.
And from what I know, and from what I hear, Golden Boy has been treating him well. They have been offering him and giving him the purses that he wants, even more. And he's just a kid that's getting a little bit greedy, in my opinion. I mean, I'm nobody to say anything. I don't even earn half of what he does. So, I mean, I guess I have a different point of view as a woman, and somebody that struggles a little more with equality in boxing, and
Yeah.
at the same time I don't have that following he does. I appreciate all the little things a little more than he does.
Yeah. And I believe someone did tell me that it was 200,000 that was originally offered, and I think they got up to 350 or 400,000. And as you said, that's the type of money you get when you're fighting for a belt, or you're at that number
Exactly.
one contender fight. So yeah, I mean, and the Linares fight, that one I was looking forward to it because it was, to me, it was Linares versus young Linares in a way. With Garcia, because
Hmm.
Garcia has so much of what Linares had. Um, and it was a perfect test. It was a perfect guy to test him with, someone with speed, someone with power, someone who's been there, someone who's fought through adversity. So I was looking forward to it. But as you said, he priced himself out of it. And to me, I just feel like it's someone possibly there in his ear telling him, "Hey, you should be doing this. You should be getting this." When that to me, it's not right.
Definitely, it always is. It
Yeah,
always is. There's always somebody in the ear talking, but you have to remember who's been there.
yeah,
And Golden Boy took the risk with him without being an Olympian, offering him I don't know how much money when he first turned pro and all that stuff. And they've carried him the
yeah,
right way. They've built up his record. They've done the right thing, and he needs to remember that Golden Boy's been there,
yeah.
you know, from
He,
the start. Because once you're made and once you're a big star, everybody wants to help you.
yeah,
Everybody wants to give you free things. Everybody wants to be there.
yep,
But when you're being built up, nobody wants a part of the process.
exactly. They want to be like Sergio Martinez, the fight where he had where when he beat Chavez, he said he had so many missed calls and all these people texting him, and everybody wanted to hang out. And after he lost to Cotto, he had two missed calls, and they were both from his mom. So
Yeah.
that's the one that's always stood out to me, is that shows you they're there when you're on top or when you're getting there to a point, but once you're at the bottom or building yourself up, there's no one else around but those one real people. So yeah, and I feel Golden Boy's done an amazing job with them. I mean, they've helped him plateau into that big following online, and that there's a reason he's there. I mean, he has the skills. We've seen it. He has the charisma, and he has the perfect promoter in De La Hoya, who's did a lot of what he did when he was younger. De La Hoya had that big following. He had all the, De La Hoya brought women to the fights because they wanted to see him fight, and that's what Garcia is doing. He's got a big following from the women's side that want to see him fight. He's got the big following online, and he's got the perfect person to teach him. But he's just doing his own thing right now, and hopefully it does get turned around and everything does work out, because again, he's a good guy to see fight, and I would love to see him against Devin Haney, Teofimo. Hopefully, we do get the Leonidas one, because I feel like that's the perfect test for him, going down that way.
Definitely. I think sometimes people forget you don't have any belts for being famous on
Yeah,
social media.
yeah, and that's why I laughed at those posts that people had. Leonidas post to him was funny. The Teofimo one to Devin Haney was funny to me. Um, and it's not a disrespect to anybody. It was just that's to me, it was just like funny banter, and it brings more interest to when those fights do go down. It's I remember when he did that picture of you holding the Twitter trophy or the email championship. It's funny. So
Yeah.
yeah, and right now, as we've said, there's no fights going on, so that's all we had. But now that there's fights coming back, let's get them going. Um,
At some point, they all have to fight each other. It
yes,
can't just be on Twitter.
yeah,
You
and
have
it's
to.
especially at that weight
Step up.
class with so many of them there. There's no way they could all avoid each other. Like if there's Lomachenko, there's Haney, there's Tiafimo, there's Tank, there's Garcia. It's if one of them is like, "Hey, I'm gonna turn around and fight this guy. I'm gonna turn around and fight this guy." Two of them are gonna be like, "Oh, I was gonna fight that guy." Well, I guess we can fight then, because there's nowhere else to turn. Like there's nowhere else to go. So yeah, I can't wait, because there's all gonna be great fights with those guys there.
Exactly. They're going to be great fights. It's one of the most stacked weight divisions. So I'm excited. Hopefully, it's not just Twitter fights and it's
Yeah.
actually fights in a boxing ring.
Yeah, and I can't wait, because yeah, I mean, and besides everything else, they all definitely have the skills to be fighters. I mean, you could put any one of them and make a case for which one of them could be possibly the future of boxing. Honestly, each and every one of them, and I believe Shakur Stevenson is going to be up there in no time. To me, at this point, Shakur is that fighter who I think might be the one to carry that mantle going forward, because of how young he is and how much skills, and he's already a champion. But I could
Yeah.
just see him moving up so many weight classes, just because he has that skill, he has that frame, and he's just an amazing fighter to me.
Shakur is amazing. Shakur, he's so smart. He's so
Yeah,
intelligent in the ring. It's his ring IQ is unbelievable.
yeah,
I do believe he's gonna be the next boxing's next big star too.
yeah.
Him and Virgil Ortiz.
Oh,
They're
Virgil
they're
Ortiz definitely.
two of my favorite fighters. With Shakur, I just hope he gets that, not only that ring IQ, but that animal instinct to take somebody out at the
Yeah,
same time. He showed it this last fight,
yeah.
and I hope we see more of that. And definitely, he's gonna be on his way to be one of the greatest ever.
Yeah, I
And
believe so.
Virgil Ortiz, he's also one of my favorites. And he has that, he's very calm. He picks his shots. He's smart. He's intelligent in there, but he's also has that animal instinct to just
Yeah.
take somebody out.
Yeah, and with Virgil, to me, it's always been that he looks so calm, like just so poised in the ring, and the next thing you know, the guy's on the ground. It's crazy how quickly he does it. I was real let down when the whole pandemic started because I was supposed to go to his fight at in LA, and I was like, oh come on
Me
now,
too.
yeah. Now that he's coming back, it's like, oh man, oh, but I don't know if what's going to be open. I don't know what's going to happen. So regardless, I'm happy to see him back. He's one of the fighters I want to see in person. So maybe that can be worked out. But if not, just the fact that he's fighting again, very looking forward to it. And I was hoping, honestly, that they would have put you on that card.
I think I was actually going to that fight to go see him
Yeah,
fight him and Tanisa
yeah,
and
yes,
show my support, and it was going to be a great card.
yeah,
Very, very heartbreaking that, it fell apart just like 2 weeks before.
yes.
But I
Oh
mean,
man, yeah. I was like, oh hey, I'm gonna go see Virgil Ortiz at the end of the month, man. I can't wait. And then it was like, hey, we're going to lockdown. I was like, so does that mean there's no boxing or anything? I was like, because I had plans. So yeah, definitely. I'm excited to see him back. As you said, he's one of the. Yeah, I forgot to mention him in the list of names because we were talking about the lower weights, but yeah, definitely he's one of those guys at those weights that and his frame too. He's one of those guys that can move up in weight as well, just because of how big he is naturally. So yeah, and maybe him and Crawford or Spence is a fight, maybe a year or two down the road if things go right.
definitely, I think that's what Golden Boy should focus on
Yeah,
and building him because the kid is just so grateful. He's so
yeah,
humble. He appreciates everybody in the Golden Boy family and he shows his love and gratitude to them. And I think that that's Golden Boy's next big star.
yeah. And I've noticed that, like I told someone the other day, it's like I feel like they could tell him, "Hey, we're gonna throw you $50,000 to go fight the number one contender." Okay, let's go. Like I feel like that's just how he is. Like just give him something and he's there. So yeah, I'm excited to see him fight and excited to see him progress in his career because I feel he has definitely the all the potential to be one of those star making fighters.
Definitely, I agree with you.
Yeah. So speaking just on a few more topics here, what what is a fight or fights from any weight class of anyone that you would love to see happen, hopefully within the next year and a half?
I better see Loma versus Teofimo. I mean, it better happen. It has to happen. I'd also like to see Canelo versus Charlo.
Okay, okay.
I mean, it would just. I mean, I know it's not gonna happen, but I would like to.
Yeah, yeah. That would be a good fight, yeah.
um, Crawford Spence.
Definitely.
Maybe Inoue versus Vaquero Navarrete if Navarrete doesn't move up.
I would love to see that fight, yes.
Yeah, and Oscar Valdez versus Berchelt.
Well, that looks like it'll happen at the end of this year, so if everything breaks right for them.
I hope.
Yeah, that's that. As they've said, that looks like it could be um, Morales Barrera all over again. So hey, if it happens, it happens. I would love to see those two in the ring. Yeah, that's a fight I definitely look forward to.
You can't be unhappy with two Mexican fighters fighting each other.
Exactly, and especially when it's those type of fighters.
I agree.
Yeah. Now, past fighters, top five fighters that you have, or that you study or watch at any point throughout your career.
I love Finito Lopez, Marvin Hagler, um, Constantine.
Okay, yeah, yeah. That one hurts me because
Um,
he hurt Chavez, but okay.
Obviously Chavez.
Yeah,
I think Chavez was, on his way out when
yeah.
he fought Constantine.
I,
He
I, I,
was
I was a kid and I think I cried at that fight. That one broke my heart.
Chavez. Chavez is one of the all-time greats,
Yes.
and Sugar Ray Robinson,
Okay, yeah, that's a good and
and
that's a
Ali, of course, too.
yeah, yeah. That's why I got Ali and Frazier on these shirts right here. So yeah,
Yeah.
and Ali that's always been my number one through everything. Because when I was a kid, I read about him. Obviously, I couldn't see him fight in person, but I read so much about him that I was more into his story of him, and then I got to the boxing part. So I was always like just amazed by it. So yeah, Ali's always been my number one. But I like your list because it's diverse. It's different weights. It's different fighters. It's different styles. Finito had that that all around kind of boxing IQ as you
Mm-hmm.
said, and then you had Chavez who was just a warrior, worked the defense, worked the body. Hagler, I mean, yeah, I mean Hagler, and then
Animal.
yeah, and then Sugar Ray. I mean that's Sugar Ray Robinson. That's an all timer right there. So yeah, definitely that's a great list.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
Thank you.
yeah, I like that one. Yeah, so that shows also too that you're not just. That's one of my things with fighters is when I ask them, some fighters are like, "Oh, I don't really watch or I don't really pay attention to older
I
fighters."
don't understand that. It
Yeah,
makes me mad.
yeah,
That's your job.
yeah. I get the ones that'll say like, "Oh, I don't watch it right now." Because you maybe you're just not trying to focus on the fighters right now. Okay, I could get that, but when it's like the old ones, it's like why wouldn't you watch and learn from stuff? Like there's things you could learn from these older guys. So yeah, I've never
Here's the
understood it.
thing. When this is your job and this is what you do, you should be well informed and aware and
Yeah,
wanting to learn and everything. I mean, I hate it when boxers say, "Oh, I don't know who somebody in my division is,"
yeah,
like just to try and seem uppity, you know?
yeah. Eh,
You should be aware of everybody that's in your division because they're all coming for you if you're that
yeah,
on that number one spot.
exactly. And
And
that's the
if
thing. It's the
you're
one
like
that you
me
don't
coming
know.
up,
Yeah, and it's the one
you
that
got
you
to
don't
know
know that
who it
might get
is.
you. Yeah, and,
Exactly.
and in me too. Like I mean, from any day, if there was any fighter at any point, if I was a fighter that wanted to help me, oh, definitely, yeah, why not? Especially like as you said, you have to look out for these other guys because you never know. You might think, oh yeah, I've seen a couple videos of him now. You might not have watched the fight where he went through hell, and you might think, oh, I'm gonna drag him into the deep waters, and that's where I'll get him. But he's been there, and that might have been the one that you missed just because you downplayed him or pushed him to the side. So yeah, I mean, when I hear that, I could see it, but I also don't always believe it because I feel like every fighter is like, no, I gotta know who's around here. That one guy might hit this hard or have this skill that I may not know about. So yeah, that's always been my thing too. But yeah, I remember I asked you about that before, and you were like, I don't like when fighters say that. I hate when they say that. So yeah, it's always been funny when I hear you get upset with that one. So first, pretty much coming to the end of the show, just got to give a quick shout. Any sponsors or anybody you want to give a shout out or just say hi to before we head off?
I just want to thank everybody for supporting myself and other women in the sport. You know, we're doing the best that we can. Just keep an eye out for me. I promise you, I'm always entertaining to watch. And thank you to everybody that just supports my career in general.
Yeah, and again, everybody, if you do watch her, or if you don't, trust me, you want to because she is very skilled. She has improved, and she always brings it. She's always entertaining. So definitely, she's not lying in that respect. So, so before here we go, want to give a quick everyone to know. Go ahead and go to Kelly Smoke Shop number 4, 302 Maple Avenue here in Fresno, California. Anything you need, go ahead and check it out there. They're open pretty much 7 days a week from I believe 10 to 10. So whatever you need, anything related to CBD oils, they have clothing, backpacks, sodas, all that, whatever you need, especially on these days. I don't know how hot it is over there in Arizona, but over here today it's 107. So if ever you need something, go ahead and check them out. And then also we have Dirt Magnets Janitorial, 559-374-7112. If you ever need anything for home, business, or office, give them a call, and they'll definitely take care of you for anything you need cleaning wise. So again, I want to thank everybody for tuning in today. Always, whenever we got the chance to do these special Saturday shows, we'll definitely do it. Hope we could bring you back on as many times as you can, especially when your fight gets announced. I would love to bring you back on. Any other fighters, women fighters that you know that would like to be on, I would more than gladly welcome them on. I do want to get the HH Diva, as we said. I want to get her on one of these times as soon as she can because I'm a big fan of her and I love her fights. And I know she would bring also an entertaining show as well, just as you did. So Any fighters that want to come on, let us know. I want to thank you guys again for having us on today. 26 Sports, host Michael Reda with the GoldenBoy top prospect and fighter coming up, Sulem Urbina. Check her out. And if you need to follow anything else, check us out at YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Mike Reda. Sulem, same thing. Her name's there at Sulem Urbina at Instagram and Twitter. So give us a follow, like, share, and as you said, follow her career. She's got a fantastic career and she's got a great team. So keep up, and we'll catch you guys on the next show. Monday we have Roberto Diaz from GoldenBoy, the matchmaker, at 7:30 p.m. West Coast time. It'll be late on the East Coast, but definitely worth the watch as he always brings it as well. So thank you again, guys. Have a great day.